Well, it's great to get a good win on the road against a ranked opponent. It's the first time that's been done around here in a while. So we're excited about that, but really excited about how the men came out and played. The whole game, to be honest with you, there was some miscues in the first half that we got to continue to work to get better at. But just really proud of the guys that went on the trip, the coaches, the game plans that were implemented, the way we practiced all week, the preparation. I thought it was just outstanding, and we went down there and beat a really good football team. I mean, they make no bones about it. That was their first FCS loss, I guess. It was good for us to go down there and show what we're made of. But like everything, it's Tuesday, so it's behind us, and we've got to prepare for a really good, really talented Central Arkansas team coming in here. Coach Brown does a great job. He'll have his guys ready to go, and it'll be a battle just like it was last year down at their place. So with that, I'll open it up for any questions.
Coach, I had a couple people want me to ask you some questions, so I hope that's okay. Stephen McKenzie wanted to ask, what halftime adjustments did we make last week specifically to help turn that game around in the second half?
I think more than anything, what we talked about was we've been in the red zone twice, okay, and came away with 0 points. Our defense, gave up the 13 points, but really what it was, we made some really big stops, some third down stops, some fourth down stops, that we just needed to play complete drives is what we needed to do. We talked all week about getting turnovers and winning the turnover battle. And it was 0-0 going in at halftime, and we came out 3-0, which our offense did a great job of maintaining it, but our defense did an excellent job of getting the strip sack for the fumble, getting the pick on the out, and then at the end of the game, sealing the victory with the interception. And I think when you look at those things, I think our players decided to come out and just raise the level of play just a little bit more. We were moving the ball. We were stopping them at times. When you're playing good football teams, it's not going to be 45-0. And so I think when we saw that and our guys, understood what was going on and got settled in, we played 60 minutes and didn't watch. I remember Shane specifically saying, don't watch the scoreboard. Don't look at it. And, when you start hearing them saying the things that you're trying to preach, it really makes it go a lot better.
Talk about this team and how you can go from winning a shootout one game to winning kind of a game like you did this past week where it's kind of nip and tuck and you gotta come from behind. So talk about just the way your team is able to win in different ways and how impressive that is.
Well, I think that was huge for our defense to get that stop because, unfortunately we didn't get one against Sam Houston, and I know they carry that burden a little bit and they don't need to. There's no reason to. But it's human nature, and for them to come out and win the game, on the last drive for us was huge, and that brings a team together. And I told our team this. I think it's a product of them and of the love that they have for each other and how they're starting to develop that love even more throughout playing and throughout being around each other and winning these football games and all the things that go into that. I think you see that, and I thought you saw it really probably the best we've ever had since I've been here on Saturday on that sideline when the offense was cheering for the defense was cheering for the offense, the special teams was involved. The guys that don't play a whole lot were engaged and not pouting and not doing the things that sometimes you see. I think it was really important that we played that away, and I think it was kind of a us versus them mentality there. We had about maybe 35, 40 fans there. The rest of them were all their people. We knew that. And, it's a long trip. We knew that. And we talked about that. And I think our guys embraced that.
You've played in front of some big environments this year, especially at home. How hard is it to go from, playing in front of 15,000 to, the smaller crowd like that SEMO had?
Well, it's not all their fault. I think they had more people wanting to come in. They didn't have the, they're tearing down their stands. So, it is what it is. I think when you get out on the field, you don't really worry. It doesn't bother me either way, but the players I know deserve to, be in a good atmosphere. And I think that was a good atmosphere. The stands were packed, the end zones were packed. It's just the whole sideline that we were on was totally empty. And so we had to, understand that it was going to be silent over there, and which was good. It gave us a chance to not get distracted, to not worry about things that aren't a factor in winning the football game.
We've seen some different guys step up offensively this year, and Parker completes passes to 8 different receivers this past Saturday, and I feel like it's someone different each week stepping up. Talk about the weaponry you have on offense this year.
Well, I think obviously it starts with Parker. He's our number one weapon, and he does a great job of distributing the football. And our guys, we've got competition at the wide receiver, tight end position, and running back position. I mean, it's not like the guys that don't play a lot sometimes aren't good enough. It's just they haven't competed and beat the guy. Let me rephrase that. They have competed, but they just haven't beat out the guys that are starting sometimes. And sometimes the balls just don't come your way. I mean, you look last week, Higgins caught, I think, one ball at UNA, and the other day he caught probably 7 or 8. I don't know how many he caught, maybe 9 or 10. I don't know. But I mean, it's just how it flows. And, we're talented in a lot of positions on offense, and we are on defense. We're injured, so we're getting thin on defense, but we're talented on defense. And we're just more mature as far as playing on offense than we are on defense. And that's where you're seeing our offense come together. So, and our, you've got K-Ron in here, our offensive line has done a nice job, and we got to continue to do that.
One last question from me. I was talking to Shane yesterday. Him and some of the other players were at one of the kindergarten academies here in town, just handing out candy and just some of the things that you've seen these guys do, throughout the week that shows their character. Just talk about these guys and how awesome of a team you've got. And they're, not just good football players, they're good men too.
Well, I think that starts with exactly right. I mean, if you want to have a good football team, you got to have good men. And the good men are got to take over the men that may be unquestionable, immature at times, and I think we have that. I don't ever hear them griping or complaining. Gary McPeak does a nice job of getting them out in the community. And I don't ever hear any negative about, hey, I got to go do this, or, and it's like I tell Gary, if they don't want to do it, I don't want them to do it. But if they want to do it, I'm more than happy for them to do those things. I mean, the community of Richmond is who our fans are going to be. Madison County is who our fans are going to be. And so we've got to serve them just like they got to serve us. We're having big crowds, 17 or 16, whatever it is, 14, 15,000. Well, if we're going to continue that, we have to continue to serve them. We have to continue to let them know that we're their team, they're our fans. And if people want to come from Lexington, we want them. People want to come from Corbin or wherever, around the area here, we want them. But Madison County can support us, and we need them to. And so we have to do the same thing.
Hey, Coach, how's it going?
Good.
Good. Just looking at the way that things finish for you guys down the stretch, everything would be, in front of you guys. Everything still is in front of you guys. I'm sure you answered this before, but just looking at the opportunity you have, despite some setbacks this season, you guys got to feel good about that heading into this weekend.
Well, I think when you look at what the playoff committee is going to look at, they're going to look at our FCS wins and losses. And we only have one FCS loss right now. And that's to Austin Peay. And so we have to continue to do what we need to do to win the FCS games and make sure that we put ourselves in position. You're right. I mean, right now the power rankings came out and we're first. And I'm not going to dwell on that much because none of that matters until, the last game in November. Probably, 8, 9 o'clock or whatever time we get done playing Kennesaw on that day. So we have to understand that, that stuff is nice. That stuff's great. And we put ourselves with our schedule in position. And we, I kind of knew that at the end. I don't know if the players totally believed me or not when I told them when we lost Austin Peay, everything's still in front of us. Well, everything still is. Everything is still right in front of us. Conference championship, playoffs. We've got to handle business. We've got to prepare well this week. We've got to practice well today, tomorrow, and Thursday. And then we've got to go out and perform on Saturday.
Aaron, we've seen some different games from Parker McKinney, whether it's running the football one game to throwing it like you did for a career high this past week. As an offensive line, what are you guys talking about throughout a game like this past week about protecting him and just getting the offense going there in the second half like you all were able to?
Well, the first thing is we understand that every guy who we have to go play quarterback is ready to go play quarterback, but we understand that if we need the best absolute chance, we need to keep Parker upright, and that is our main concern, is making sure that the defensive line or anybody else on defense don't get to Parker, because that is our job. At the end of the day, that is our job, is to make sure that he don't get touched. And if we're not doing our job, he's not standing upright, well, I don't think he would feel comfortable in the pocket to sit there and throw it or scramble or do whatever he needs to do to make sure that, we complete that drive or complete that play. So we understand that we have to keep him upright. And if we want to win the games every game that we're possible winning, capable of winning, we got to keep him clean.
This team seems like you guys have a ton of fun. You see some of the social media video and some of the things that you are doing out there before the game and during the game. It just seems like there's a lot of fun going on, even, when it's a pressure-packed situation like it was on Saturday. Talk about that and how that is able to kind of help keep you all loose, especially, in a big game like you had on Saturday.
Man, this team, since I've been here, I've seen this team grow a lot. Now there's places that we could still grow, but the one thing that we will do, we will be ourselves no matter what before the game, man. We will be ourselves. Like, yeah, there's a sense of seriousness that has to come with it, but at the same time, man, I don't think we play our best ball when we're tight. Shouldn't be tight, in my opinion. I think we play our best ball when, we're ourselves and we're just out there just with each other and being happy for each other, clapping for each other, getting excited for each other when good plays happen. And like Shane, like Coach mentioned, Shane is right. Dude, we don't need to look at the scoreboard. That is not the indication of how well we did. Yeah, it determines the result of what we did, but it doesn't determine how well we did, man. We just go out there and play for one another. I think that's what we're starting to do more, is to go out there and play for one another and be excited for one another.
Last one for me. So, you all have had kind of an up and down roller coaster emotional season thus far, with everything that happened with Coach Wells before the season to some of these big games, some of these late game losses. How important was it to win that game on Saturday to kind of give you all, one of those games that you can kind of put your stamp on, like, this was a big win for our program?
You just said it. It was for the program. And it was for the program, it was for the people, it was for us. Like, dude, that was a huge win for the program to be able to advance to whatever is next. Like, yeah, if we would have lost, I feel like we still would have had everything in front of us, but that wouldn't have felt great. It just would not have felt great with everything we've got going right now, with the steam that we've got going, with everything that we've got going for us. It would have been a lot harder to push forward. Not saying that we wouldn't have, but I'm just saying it would have been a lot harder to push forward, knowing we let that one specifically slip out of our hands and what it could do for us. So what it has done for us, we're happy. But at the end of the day, like Coach said, it's about when we get done playing Kennesaw State. When we get done playing Kennesaw State, what does that win really mean now? So I think that's what it's meant for the program.
And K-Ron, on that note, Coach Wells had just said that, maybe you guys didn't believe his process, his method with this schedule. And now here you are, like you said, with everything in front of you, just to see that, be in front of you now. How much has that helped you guys kind of see the vision here down the stretch?
Well, to answer your question, I won't say that we just didn't believe. I think, when you lose games, man, you think this, you think that, you like, man, I wish I would have done this, I wish I would have done that, I wish this would have happened. It's hard to see what's in front of you when you don't win something that you thought you were supposed to win. And so all this, sometimes doubt will set in. Well, if you let it set in and you let it truly set in, then it will show. I think we let it set in for a little bit, but I think we quickly got out of it once coach really laid it out in front of us. Like he really laid it out in front of us and was like, look, yeah, we did this and yeah, this happened, but this is what's in front of us. You have to look what's in front of you and you have to attack what's in front of you. We still have everything, like y'all been saying and like he's been saying, we still have everything that is rightfully so in front of us. And I think the win last week, if it hasn't already, I think it's already like, oh, okay, no, we really could do this thing. So if that answers your question, that's kind of what I had to say to answer your question.
Shane, let's talk about, this team specifically this year. And, you look at some of the things that have gone on in the past with this program, getting some of these big wins that you all have got this year. What do you think has been the primary difference with this team this year as opposed to some of the teams you've been a part of in the past at Eastern?
I think this might come off kind of silly, but just the want to win. I think in years past, there may have been guys that are just really kind of self-absorbed and more focused on themselves. I think there has been times, and as we have myself, K-Ron, and Coach Wells have all exclaimed that we have room to grow. There's been times where we haven't fulfilled our passion, which is loving and serving each other. There's times where we're not doing consistently performing in our best endeavors and what we can do. So I think it just comes down to the matter of the fact that we want to win. I think that there's been times that I've been on teams here because I've been here a while, and guys just aren't really worried about what's best for the team. And I think that guys are really focused on, one, winning a conference championship, two, getting to the playoffs, and then, and simple as it is, just winning every week as it comes towards us. So I think that's the major difference as I see it.
On defense, just like the offense, it seems like there's somebody different every week stepping up and making big plays. But is that something that's been a big part of this team this year too? I know there's been some explosive offenses that you guys have played, but just like in the UNA game, when Coach talked about when you needed a big play defensively, you were able to get some of those. So, talk about that and just what has stuck out defensively for you this year.
I think, and again, this kind of response is kind of boring, but it just goes back to, if we do our jobs, anybody can perform. If I'm out there holding my gap and the D-line is performing properly, just as we saw last week, we're able to stop the run, which they were a really good run team. So if we're able to do our jobs, other guys are going to be able to eat off of that. And that's just not speaking for the D-line. That's the DBs, the linebackers, everybody. If everybody effectively does their jobs, there's no telling who's going to go off that week. I mean, it's just a matter of who makes the plays as they come to them.
This one's more of a past question for you. Bryan Station's having a pretty good year this year. You guys got the playoffs starting this week. Potential Madison Central Bryan Station matchup again. So talk about your defenders and how far do you think they can go this year?
I mean, I think they can go as far as they want to go. Coach Hawkins does a really good job with them guys. He's really made a difference in that program, and I think we had some success while I was there. But just kind of looking on what's going on now, I think that they're doing a really good job, and I know that they've had a lot of big wins here lately. I think it would be awesome. It would be really cool to see that matchup. I know when I played, I do not think we ever lost to Madison Central when I played. So I like our odds there. But I know Madison Central's got a pretty good team this year. So I think whatever matchup comes their way, I think that'd be awesome. And I'd love to tune in if I had the ability to.
You and Coach Wells have a little back and forth when that game coming, because they played, they already played once a couple of weeks ago and Station got the better of them. So.
Right. I don't know. Maybe me and Coach Wells will be more focused on UCA this week, but I might have to say something a little bit to him just about it, just a little bit.
There you go.
Hey, Shane, just kind of what I've been asking everyone today. You touched on it a bit, but just to have this opportunity down the stretch as the season, begins to wind down in the regular season, what does that mean to the team? What is the vibe then as you kind of see the vision laid out in front of you right now?
I will say personally for myself, one of my biggest goals in coming back this year is I wanted to win a conference championship. And I think that the fact that we still have that in front of us after taking a few FCS losses, I think that's tremendous. And the way that we attack this week is really going to speak to how we attack the rest of the season. I think that this game is a big game. I think this is one of the most important games of the season, although every game that we play is the most important game of the season as it comes to us. But I think the implications of this game is cannot be understated. So I think that if we come out and practice properly today, tomorrow, Thursday, have a good mental day Friday, and then come out ready to play Saturday, I think that, as you said, everything's in front of us. And if we do well, then we'll be well from here on out. And we just got to go 1-0 this week.
And to have this game at home, talking to Parker earlier this season, you guys really haven't, your wins, you've had to scratch and claw for them, and stave off teams. So you've been in a lot of pressure packed situations. So this weekend shouldn't be anything new for you. But I'm just curious, listening to you guys and seeing you guys out there, what this means to have a game of this magnitude at home.
And as you mentioned, yes, most of our games have been scratching and clawing victories, which is not what we necessarily want. But I mean, those games are always fun to come out on top of, very energetic. I think us having this game at home is very impactful for us. We love to defend the kid. We love our fans. We love being at home. And I think that it's really beneficial for us. I think that our fans do a great job coming in and supporting us, and that we love to put on a show for them. And I think that us having this game at home is really big, and I'm just really excited to play in front of our fans this week and get a dub.
Shane, you guys have had to shuffle a lot on your depth chart on the defensive side, especially the back seven. You got a lot of guys playing who maybe weren't in big roles when the season started. What have you seen from those guys who've kind of been forced into a lot more playing time? What have you seen from them as the season's gone on?
I think more so it's just a team focus on being able to, one, do your job, and then two, being able to consistently do your job. I think that it's a matter of understanding what's in front of you, regardless of who it is. I mean, when you're thrown per se into the fire, you got to perform. And if you don't, then you're going to get taken out of that fire. Whoever else is up next is going to be up next, regardless of who they are. So I think that guys are ready to step up to the plate if their number's being called. And I think that guys have done a great job, and they must consistently continue to do their job if we want to win games down the stretch. So I think that guys have stepped up, have done a tremendous job. And I think there are more guys who will step up, and that'll lead us to more consistent victory. And hopefully we'll go 1-0 this week.
And last question, you've got a UCA offense coming in this week. The last 4 games are averaging 54 points a game. Last 3 games, 623 yards a game. What is the challenge of trying to slow down an offense that's really clicking, it seems, right now?
I think we've seen potent offenses before. I would say the last week, the week before. I mean, most teams that we play have potent offenses, and offenses that have big play running backs, big play receivers, and good quarterbacks. I think it's just a matter of, and I'm sorry, my responses are so boring, but it's just doing our job. If we get out there and we do what the coaches tell us to do, and they put us in the right positions, and we're going to be fine. I think it's just a matter, not pressing. What we call it is not pressing, and not trying to make the big play, not trying to do somebody else's job, or not trying to overexert yourself into somebody's gap because you don't trust them. It just comes down to having trust in your teammates, doing your job, and just playing with a high energy, high level, run, hit, and get excited, as Coach Johnson would say. So I think it just comes down to us being us and playing hard.